Yep.
Welcome back to the Casual Convo Show, where we are having part two of the live Q&A, where we are answering questions that were provided by you guys. You
Yep.
can still comment. You can still comment a question. Do whatever you got to do. You want to join? Join. We don't care.
Let's go.
All right, you want to jump right in it?
Let's go. Actually, he's from Mount Vernon, Fallon. He just
Cool.
represents Harlem. She says he's from Harlem.
Cool.
Diddy, I think he's from Mount Vernon. I
Oh,
know. I know his father. I know his father lived in Mount Vernon.
oh.
Yeah.
Um. Why don't men date anymore?
Well, that's easy. Like someone said, Me Too, feminism. Men are afraid because now if a man step to a woman, the woman is going to clown him because he may not have enough status, enough money, or whatever. So we're fed up. If you say the wrong thing, oh, he came at me this way, you know, chivalry. Like I said, when I hold the door from some women, except for the older women, they look at me like I'm hungry, I'm thirsty. They got something smart to say. They want to be men, not all, but they want to have this masculine way. So men are fed up. Some, I don't want to say all. Some men are just fed up.
Um, my first answer is because they be dating each other. No matter
Yeah,
how you live.
that
I mean,
too.
for the most part, because there's a lot of that happens. And then also, I don't. I think women have become a lot of women have become very relaxed, where it's not. I don't want to say mandatory, but it's not a requirement. Like a lot of people don't know how. I mean, me personally, I like the dating phase, actually going out, hanging out, getting to know somebody instead of the whole come over thing. That shit is phony as fuck. But
Hmm.
I think over time, the standard and with the reversal of roles when it comes to, like you guys say, the independent woman. So most guys like, you don't ask me out. You don't ask me to do nothing. I'd be like, so and it's crazy because me being the person I am, I'm not like, but I'm the lady. You're supposed to ask me. You're supposed to, and they're like, no, you can say, hey, let's go out.
I'm
And
with
I'm like, okay, but I don't want to. I want you to be the guy. And so those are the positions when it's like some men pick and choose when they want to be the man, but then they pick and choose the times they want the woman to be the man role and then
you.
complain about it. So September almost over. Y'all missed it. Lamar said September is X the man out month. But I'm just saying, if we get to know each other, and of course, if we're building something and we're kind of already in it, I don't have a problem saying, hey, what you doing, so and so and so, you want to go somewhere. But initially, when it comes to dating, it's not a requirement for men to really date. Women don't hold men accountable for the dating phase because it's like with the ratio of men to women, so many women are quick to just instantly snag onto the first man that they see to show them interest instead of actually dating.
You know, me dating in my 20s and 30s compared to now, this is the difference I see. Back then, if I asked someone out, the women be like politely, nah, no, thank you, you know, or whatever. Now, if I ask a woman out, it's attitude, and they tell her, you can't. He actually asked, I ain't going out with him. It's like that, and then I hear like down the line, like one of my friends told me I asked this lady out. I was like, yo, take you out to eat. She's like, nah, I'm not really trying to find nobody. But then when they got around, my friend said, I heard you ask somebody out. I was like, yeah. And they was like, she came to me like, he had the nerve to ask me out. Da 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 da. And I was like, for real. And see, I hear that a lot. Now there's truly guys that dating other guys, yeah, because I don't know what's up with this generation now. But yeah, a lot of I see now that if a guy asks a woman out, he's clown or he don't have enough status. Like I could say, I work for Marriott. I'm a chef. I don't make enough money. What? How much? We'll get on that. I think that's one of our questions. I'm like,
Go ahead. Maxwell, go right on to it.
like, So you're not looking at me from the person I am. You look like I don't make enough money because I'm a chef that's married. You don't even know how much I make. And why is that an issue? You don't know I might make 80,000. You don't know that. But then they come at you. You don't make enough. Nah, you a chef. So if I work for the sanitation department, I'm paying my bills. I'm taking care of business. You don't want to date me because of the type of job I do. But then again, you take this cat over here who's selling dope. You know it's a dog. But then when he dogs you out, you're like, I should have dated you. No, you dated the right person. You chose the person because you felt I wasn't making this because of my job description, because I'm a chef, or I'm a sanitation officer, or I'm a janitor at a high school. That's not good enough. That status. That's why men don't date. And with Me Too and all this other stuff, we're like we're falling back because it's like if we say the wrong thing, it's sexual harassment or it's this or it's that. Like you can't even. A lot of women today, not all, a lot of women today, you can't even say you look nice. Now the older women be like, "Hey, you look nice in that dress." But now if you say it now, it's like he said this to me. Da da da. No, I'm just complimenting you. That's why I don't compliment women as much as I used to. Because I'm like, for what?
Again, I always say I think it's the group of women I think they're talking about. But for
Yeah,
most women,
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what I'm
now
saying.
let me address Mr. Pleasant. Cause he over here cutting up. He says it's Dutch until I figure out if she mixed the cut. And then he gives a little face emoji. I'm not spending a damn thing until I figure out her angle. Drink a cup, drink this cup of coffee and be happy. And then Karen said, an interested man will date and be creative about it. I agree.
But
Now,
it's the
the,
point.
the
We
whole
want to be creative, but it's the initial trying to get the person to go out on a date.
I'm gonna tell you what I've noticed.
That's the problem.
I'm gonna tell you what I've noticed actively dating on both. Well, as far as Lamongo, I think I get where you're coming from, but I think also it's okay to go Dutch as long as she know. You can't invite. It's like if I ask you out, right, and I say, Bosco, what you doing? So and so and so. You want to go out with me? Whatever. In my mind, I'm paying, right?
Hmm.
Now, if you call me and say, "Oh, I'm trying to get to know you," da, 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 and then in my mind, you ask me out, it's on you.
Right,
Unless I
I agree.
decide I'm gonna grab the bill, but don't bring that on me when the check come and then you like, "Oh, this is it." But then if you gonna turn around and think no, we ain't doing. You can't get a
Right,
hug, no nothing because now you're blindsiding me. Just
right,
say you wanna slow walk it and be friends, right?
right.
So then I do understand Karen's part because
Hmm.
being in the on the market and in the
Hmm.
dating scene, what I have noticed is if someone is genuinely really interested in you,
Hmm.
they will make the time for you. They
Hmm.
will do certain things to date you and get to know you. Now, if it's somebody that really don't have no intentions on doing anything, yeah, they really just want to come over or sleep with you
Hmm.
or do something like that. So I think it's kind of important to let people know where your boundaries are. If that's what we doing,
Hmm.
okay, because for me, that's going to be on my terms and my terms only, not on yours. Because
Yeah,
this is what we limited to. So I think the dynamic of what dating is has changed so much.
hmm,
Because as much as we say social media, social media, social media, we still look at these influences on social media as what it's supposed to look like and as opposed to what it really is. Because a
I
lot
agree.
of times chivalry, like you stated, some women do look at chivalry as like a sign of weakness or something like that instead of because I told you for the longest time I didn't until I really started. I think when I started dating different type of men
Hmm.
and specifically well, I'm lying. My
Hmm.
Gerald was the first man to teach me not to open no freaking door, and that's like my best friend. Cause
Hmm.
he had to. We literally would get into arguments while we was outside. I
Hmm.
don't care if we was going to the corner store or we was out shopping. No, what the fuck is you doing? Leave the damn door. I mean, I'm like,
Hmm.
come on, open the door. I got you. You get
Hmm.
me? But me not realizing because I wasn't at that time. I never dealt with anybody that was opening doors. Hey,
Hmm.
Lisa. that was doing all of this stuff
Mhm.
for me.
Mhm.
So then when that started happening, I'm like, oh, okay, now for me, that's a requirement. Yes,
Mhm.
you want to get out and open this door. You want to get out and do this. But
Mhm.
then I noticed when I started dating a different type of man,
Mhm.
and I'm not gonna lie, when I went older and I wasn't really dating people closer to my age range
Mhm.
and all of this, there was a difference in how I was treated. Even if they wasn't, they were
Mhm.
still opening doors. They were still very cool,
Mhm.
really, they were gentlemen.
Mhm.
And I like that.
Mhm.
And then it was crazy because I never forget one time, it's a small story. So, you know how, like, when I was dating this guy. So,
Mhm.
yes, he was opening the real gentleman. We had
Mhm.
great conversation. We would hang out. We always did something, right?
Mhm.
My ex calls me,
Mhm.
very street. So he like, yo, what's up with you? You trying, I'm on with something to eat. You want to go with me? So it was like one of my favorite spots. So I'm like, mind you, we still cool. So I'm like, yeah, what's up? What time you trying to go? I meet you there, whatever. So
Mhm.
he's like, yeah. So he come pick me up. I'm like, you open the door? He like,
Yeah.
man, you can't get the fucking car. Get in the car. Everybody open the motherfucking door. Oh, now you
Yeah.
want some bougie shit? Open the door. And I'm
Yeah.
looking like I was like, you know what I mean? And I
Mhm.
was questioning myself, like I was really. And he was dead serious. He did not open that fucking door. And I was like, that's why we broke up.
Let me tell you a quick story. Um, one day it was raining, and it's raining hard as hell. And my car was parked somewhere, and this other car was parked somewhere. Now we weren't dating. I said, "Look, I'll go get my car, come get you, drive you to your car." She's like, "No, that's okay. That's okay. I don't want you to get wet." So what I did, I said, "Okay, this is what we do." I took my jacket off, old school. I covered her up, walked her to her car. All was good. The next day, guess what the other one was saying? That nigga's stupid. Why he do that? I'd have let her get wet. And it got back to me, and I confronted, yo, why y'all say some shit like that? They said she ain't nobody. She ain't nobody. I said I'd have done it for y'all. Nah, you just want something. Now these are younger women, under 30, under 35, something like that. Now I've done that to an older woman coming out of the post office. Yo, I'll walk you to your car. First she's like, I said, come on, I want to, and I did it. And she said chivalry's not dead. But see, that's what I mean. It depends on who it is. Like you were saying. I don't have with the older women, say 45 on up, 40, 45. They're like, hell yeah, show me that. The younger one got all this mouth. He wants something. That's why I say a lot of men, and I agree with the dating thing. Be creative, everything. But the problem we have is getting the person to go on the date, rather than just say, like I said, back when I was 20s and 30s, and 80s and 90s, like, nah, I'm cool, da 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 da. But now it's like if you ask about, like the girl said, she said the person was offended because I asked to take them out on a date, and I'm like, why? Because I'm a chef. And what that's supposed to mean? I don't have the status. And it's not all, it's some women. I keep reiterating to people. I don't mean all women. Cause I say most women are genuine. Just like I figure most men are genuine. It's that one group who are the minority, but they're the loudest ones. You could have 100 good women in one spot and 10 bad women. But it's the bad women, just like with the men, are the ones who people hear and see. You'll never know them 100 good women are there because the 100 good women, they are good women. So they're not going to act like the good men. They're not going to act unruly and bougie and all that. They're going to maintain that respect they have. So you don't notice them being there. That's just my opinion. But now I say,
I'm laughing at Lamar in these comments. I'm
oh,
trying not to
I see you. I
because
see you.
he's over here cutting.
I see you. I ain't paying
But
about nobody.
so let me ask you this because Karen did mention first that she said not necessarily the first date.
Hmm.
I'm
I agree with
curious.
Karen though. I'm with her.
I'm I'm on the fence. I'm curious to see what exactly in what context because we always say first impressions, right? So and I saw that she did say it's usually like a coffee date somewhere
Yeah,
public because especially for me because I think everybody is trafficking everybody.
yeah,
So definitely public places for me or I gotta have my friends on standby or something like that. But
yeah.
then it's kind of like why shouldn't you expect chivalry in a person to be a gentleman or the lady to be a lady and be engaging and show interest if that's the first date because the goal is to try to make it to a second one or get to know the person because it seemed like we got away from the communication part and it's like create as much separation as you can to see who gonna go first.
Yeah.
And it
I,
feels like that's the dating pool because so many people probably have been, effed over or something went wrong. And so now I get your proceeding with caution. But
mhm.
in order to know if something is going to work, you got to give a little bit of something. And usually that's within the conversation, that's within the date or something like that. Or before y'all go out, state where you are, how you want to move, and going forward. Because a lot of us jump into stuff because we don't know and we don't have those. And I know people like it's too early to talk about that. It's not too early to say what your expectations are as
Right.
far as when you're dating, getting to know someone, or what you require. In the same way for men, what do you require of a lady? It doesn't necessarily have to be me. Because I can tell you at the break, oh, I'm not doing none of that. This is over. We ain't even
Yeah.
going.
I think with the men, I think the one problem we have is we listen to our homies. We don't want our homies to think, "What's up, my man Doc?" Me and him grew up in New York together, went to school together. Think about it. Here we are in the same city together, and we were in like third, fourth grade, fourth, fifth grade in New York together. That's my dude right there, Doc. Doc. Anyway, I think the problem is with us guys. And I'm only going to speak for the black men because I don't know how to get down in the white community, but black men, I think, and this is a problem we got to fix ourselves. We tend to listen to our homies. We don't want our homies to see that we're weak. Like saying to a woman, "Yo, I'm gonna take her out. She's nice. She's da da da." We don't want our homies to see that, which is a bunch of bullshit. I don't care if the next dude.
Did he just say, wait a minute, I'm sorry. The book will say they just hungry 9 times out of 10. No, we not.
I
But
see
then
that. Anyway, back to I ain't listening to Lamar. I'm not. I see you Sunday when I see you football day when y'all beat Chicago, man. I ain't got no football
damn,
about.
I believe
Anyway,
being a
I,
good
I
woman is hard these days.
you said what?
I'm a Felisa. Being a good woman is hard these days. We're
It
not.
is. Yeah, it is. I agree. I agree. I agree with her. It is. Because it's a lot of knuckleheads on both sides of the fence. I agree. That's what I was saying about the 100 women. The 100 women are going to maintain their self-respect. So that means the dumb ones, like if you got 100 men, they're going to maintain their self-respect. The bad ones are the ones that are going to be the loudest ones. And I salute the women who still maintain their self-respect. You know, it's a shame. Let's go to the next question, because we don't want to
Wait a
get.
minute, I'm confused because these comments is interesting. So,
But thanks for holding it down, Lamont.
and Lamont said he holding it down. And then, wait a minute, let me go. Lisa said, let me go. I'm doing audience participation. Karen said not on a first date. Lamont said Pookie and Ray Ray don't pay for nothing and still get the thongs. Hello. Hello,
He's
wow.
right though.
Um, first date is coffee for me anyway. Um, Lamont says, I just want to do the macaroni. So, then
Squidward
he
did.
said, bruh, they had 5 guys doing the same gymnastics. I don't know what type of women y'all be meeting. Then he says, have Leroy take you to Ruth Chris. He did though. He spent his whole check if he think he going some booty. Then Lisa says, being a good woman is hard nowadays. I completely agree, Lisa.
I
And
do too.
then Jay said, I feel like getting my friends some flowers tomorrow. And you should if that's what you want to do. Then
Flowers
Lamont,
always works.
we can Netflix when you get back. LOL. And he said, hey, Idris, I'm holding us down.
Right.
And L. Doc Summers Jr. said, chivalry is still alive in my life.
That's my dude, the
Grandpa
dog.
taught me right on
Hmm.
period. And then Lamar said, oh, they hungry 9 times out of 10. And yeah, Lamar, and then he was like, Don said, right, my brother, third grade. Lamont said, fellas, make sure they like you before they go dropping dough. Not always. I know some that just do it because they want to be like, um, and then Jay said, I don't want to be in comp with no other man. I'm gonna get back to that one. And then Lamont said, the game taught me the game. And then Lamont said, listen, if a lady like you, none of that stuff will matter. I agree. And then, oh, Karen said, send me the link, Pooh. Have a
Morning, Karen. Except the water's
Oh, no,
nice.
you already got it. Hit the same one you already got. Check it.
Yeah,
Go back in your thing. You already got it.
but yeah, I think I don't know, man. It's
So, but the thing about being in competition with another man, that okay, let's talk about that for 1 second. So, what I find is if you're single, right, and you meet someone, 9 times out of 10, most people have if you're a guy that's single, you probably talk to someone on the phone, you probably seeing some whatever it may be. So is that is that still deemed as competition or no? Because my thing is, if you're single, you're single, but it's
right.
not competition. If you like a person and you're interested, you show that interest. You don't know what that is. I
Hmm.
mean, it's never but sometimes is it safe to say, because some women are stuck in that, because most men usually have a couple of them on the roster when they meet somebody else, so she's supposed to compete
Hmm.
with everybody,
Hmm.
but you want to be like people know what to do.
Right.
Make it make sense.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm with you.
Oh, Lamont said he gonna be serious for a second. I'm going to be serious for a minute. Courtship means one on one. Women aren't traditional anymore. What?
I agree. I'm going to tell you. I know these some about women that aren't traditional, and I'm saying some, not all. Women want a man to be have a good job, stability, a car, a plate, all every,
Question.
huh?
Is that the next question?
Okay, let's go. Next question.
No, is that because it fall in line, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so
actually, get that's good. I think it
how
does.
value man or woman? For Lamont's question for 500, Alex.
The value of a person, in my opinion, is what that person can bring to you. Like people say, a high value man or high value woman is someone who makes a lot of money. Da, 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 da. The value of a person is what value they bring to you personally. Like you might bring value to me that I personally feel is value, but you may not bring the same value to the next man. Just like with me, I might bring value to you that you say, okay, what you got is value to me, but to the next man, he may not bring the value to you. Like with me, I'm a simple guy. I don't need her to make $100,000 a year or drive a whatever a 2023 Bugatti or whatever, or have her own 3 bedroom. I don't need all that. She can make $30,000 a year. She's taking care of business. She bringing value. Can she cook? I'm cool. She may not be able to cook a lot of the stuff that I eat, but we can work on that because I'm a chef. So she's bringing value right there. Does she take care of herself? Yeah. Okay, she's bringing value because she's showing me that she's I don't know what we call it a well kept man. I don't know what the women call each other. What's up, Richie Rich? But whatever the woman you call yourself, we call ourselves kept men. Whatever women call, if she take care of herself, she's looking good, and if that's how she feel, that's the value. She taking care of whatever that's the value of a person is based on what the value they bring to you. Cause we're all different. That's how I see high value. And the more she has outside of stuff that I'm looking for, that just makes her value more. Like if she has more education than me, okay, she's bringing more value. If she's making more money than I am, but we're not really looking at each other money wise, then she's bringing more value. And I'm saying, okay, this girl got more than me, but she's still willing to be down with me. Then that just brings her value up. I'm not asking for her to be, you know what I mean? It's based on the individual. How much value the person brings to you.
Oh, they
This she is. This she is.
You hear me again?
We hear you.
I see you, Paul. Welcome back. And,
Hit me knocking, let me in. Let me in.
you, you in the building.
Hey
Yeah, but see
y'all.
that's what's up. What's up?
hey,
What's up?
Paul.
What's up, Kay? That's how I see value. It's what the
Um,
person brings to you.
I agree. I think everybody's definition is just different, though.
Yeah.
Honestly, because when some people, what matters to them is different than
Hmm.
what matters to the next person, like you
Right.
said. And then I think what I gathered from him was I think knowing what a person moral and values are
Hmm.
initially, because that can be a generalized statement to say, oh, this group of people don't want this and this, that, and third. Because, and I think that's where, like, when Bosco has the issue of people getting offended by what he says, because it's technically designed or stated for a particular group of people,
Hmm.
but it can be offensive to another group of people that don't fall in that category.
Right.
So when you have a woman like me or Karen or somebody like that, when certain statements are made in reference to women in general, we like, well, what the fuck?
Right. That's
What
how I
we
always
doing
say
this?
some.
Or
Yep.
what we doing it wrong? Um, because a lot of people walking around here thinking that they are high value
Hmm.
and they're really basic. But the people who you don't
Ooh.
see as high value are really high value, and you're not there yet because you're keeping it on surface. So a lot of people look at surface level
Hmm.
and dictate that as what a person's value is. So
Right.
sometimes you got to get past them layers, because once I take away all of those glitz and all of that stuff from you, what else am I going to enjoy?
That's what I was saying about, like, I'm a chef. But the chicks told me I was just a chef. But you know how much value I bring being a chef? I love to cook. I love to shop. So for any woman who feels like they have to cook, no, you don't. Because I got that. Now, if you want to cook, you can. But I got that. When it comes to shopping, I got that. What you want to eat, I got you. But I wasn't value to her because she said, I'm a chef. You know?
I
Like,
know
okay,
we
so
slam hop against the wall.
you said what?
Favorite slam hop against the wall. So
Oh,
Karen, break it down for us. I know you about to give me some good stuff. You called in here to drop some
she
jewels.
always does. She always does. Let's go.
Let me press mute on my end.
Yeah, me too.
Right.
What is
The
what is
floor is yours.
I'm agreement because with the gentleman, because it's all in where you was a time. Those attitudes change as they mature and realize that everything isn't face value as they think it right now, and what's real people. So as an older woman, I find what's important to me is not your title or your status. It's how you treat me. And growing up in a traditional home, two parent forever, and providing the same as long as I could, my expectations would be to still be as comfortable as I am today, knowing what I know. But that's not everybody else's expectation. A lot of people
Amen.
expect a handout. They don't really want help. They want attention. Because if they really
Mhm.
took the help, nobody would be paying attention to the sad stories anymore. So as you
Exactly.
grow and learn to be self-reliant and self-dependent, you realize that, that bag ain't the most important thing, because there's a whole lot of stuff out here that money can't buy and you're lacking.
Amen. You know, to feed more to that, and speaking on with the men, and yes, I'm coming at you, men. A lot of men think it's the money that's all they have to bring to the table, but there's a whole lot more than just the money, homie. You know, it may be times you need to clean the house. You might need to go shopping. You might need to do all this stuff. You know, just because you bring the money in doesn't mean that's all you have to bring. Because once that money runs out, what are you bringing to the table? And I think that's what a lot of guys these days, they think they can get the girl with the money. But when the girl takes the money and goes about her way, they're like, oh, she just used me for my money.
Yeah.
Well, of course, because that's what you put out there. You were the dummy. If that's all you had to offer, and she takes your money and runs, you messed up because you bought nothing but that, and that's all you had. Now I know a guy like I, oh man, you simping. No, I'm not. You brought money to her face, and she took the money because that's all you had to offer.
And the
Oh,
You
same
had
thing
nothing
with
else.
women. The same
can I,
thing with women when they
can I get this
rely
one
on
question
their
in?
man.
Okay, Karen, hold your thought because because he's taking me right into the next question. It's very ironic. Um, does
Mm.
the amount of money a person make matter?
To me,
Go
no.
guys, go.
To me, no.
I'm
Like
gonna
like
go.
like Karen said, it's what you bring to me. Other than I don't care about you because if I'm working, there's a good chance the money I have is your money too. I'm trying to because I know if I'm taking care of you, then I know you're gonna take care of me. So I don't care what if you're making your money, you're making your money. Cool, do your thing. I want you to do your thing because I want you to be happy. But most likely, I'm probably gonna pay the bills because if I came at you, if I'm courting you, and I'm like, yo, I want you to be my woman, then I'm saying, this is I got this stuff I gotta carry. Then I know I gotta carry this. So if you what you bring to me, like you might say, hey, I can cook. Okay, cool. I can do this. Okay, cool. I'm like, well, let's make this happen. So with her money, I don't care about her money. If she's making more money, I'm like, well, shoot, all right, we about to do this then. Let's start a business or whatever, you know. But I really don't care. It's the other stuff I want. I don't care about her money. Her money is her money.
Karen,
The,
I'm gonna go there.
the thing with the money is not so much the amount of money a person makes. It is more for me what they're gonna do with it. Now, because you can
Yep.
have somebody that's footing all the bills, but then the other person with a different income is making investments.
Yep.
Y'all growing. And then the other person invests in the business as well. It really makes you a power couple, and you doing things as long as you stay on one accord, and the actual money is not as important as being in relationship with the person you have a relationship with.
I agree. I
I'm
think a
laughing at
lot of
J Bear.
people
That's all.
I think a lot of people get stuck and they just look at it, okay, you gotta make this, you gotta make this, you gotta make this.
Hmm.
I'm a I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench in and I'm gonna be 100%. At one time I was like, no, it does, and I'm gonna explain why it does for me.
Hmm.
Because I've dated guys that didn't really have money, but in the midst of arguments, what came out was, oh, you think you better than me. And it
Hmm.
wasn't that I didn't think I'm better than you. It's not that the money matters.
Hmm.
It's your ambition to want more.
Right.
It's what is your goal? What do you want? Are you trying to elevate, or are you just stagnant? Because if you're not trying to grow and be in a partnership, what Karen described is a partnership within a relationship. Because your relationship is your partnership, is your union. When you in a relationship, you wanna grow. And I think that's why we see a lot of people, they go this way because one person, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine, this is it.
Hmm.
But my thing is, if I'm making more than you, and I could be doing a lot. Not to say that
Hmm.
I even hear nor that. That's from the bottom of my heart. But don't throw that up in my face. Because
Hmm.
I've been in situations where as though, yeah, I like the guy because he might have had other qualities outside
Hmm.
of the monetary thing. But my thing is, if you got a mind and you goal driven, oh, we gonna make some money. We gonna do what we gotta do because I'm gonna uplift you to do that. But if I'm trying to uplift you and he's like, no, 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 but you constantly wanting me to be the dude and take care of you, no, I can't rock with that. So my thing is, it does matter, but it's also you. I'm not saying that you got to make a hell of a lot, but
Hmm.
you at least got to have a mindset to want to build an empire. You want to take over within your realm to be on top and not just cut yourself off. It ain't no ceiling over here.
You know what? My daughter's mother, we had worked at the same place twice actually, and I made more money than her at one time. Then she made more than me. And the thing about it, I made it a competition, but not as a competition as in forget that. You making more money. It was like more like you said, I gotta step it up. Because I wanted to be the man. I wanted to talk shit to her, but it was like a friendly thing to where I made manager of the department to where she's working under me. And it was more like, nah, I'm making the money. But we had fun with it. And from there, like I said, we built our little stuff coming up. Like, yeah, yeah. And it just became a competition, but it was always more like we were leveling each other up. That's why here we are. We're not together, but here we are 20 years from our relationship, and we're like, she's married, but we're still like that's my dog. I talk about her all the time because she still calls me and like, yo, what you doing? And she be like, yo, I'm making this. I'm making this.
I think
We still do that.
I think it's dating. Lamont, he said we talking dating. I think it's dating because even
Yeah.
within dating, you're getting to know a person's mindset where they are.
Hmm.
So let's just say, what Karen described, she described that's the mindset. Like if this does progress,
Hmm.
we're gonna both win. I'm not in competition with you because I
Right.
want to see you win. What
Right.
happens is I think there's a thing called balance. Even in dating,
I level up. Yeah.
I like to learn from the person I'm getting to know because I'm gonna take a lesson from every encounter that I have in my life,
Hmm.
whether it's dating or whatever. I've never been married, so I can't speak on the marriage piece. But what I'm saying is I've dated people that I learned a lot from, and I was able to take those lessons into my life
Appreciate that, Lisa.
to make me better. So we like to separate the two because we don't want to invest in people in time. When you get to know somebody, whether it's dating, you're giving that person your time. You're giving that person a piece of you because you can't get that time back, but you can get those lessons and progress. And that's how we grow as people. We so stuck in a mindset of being apart where we don't even know how to come together. Because sometimes
Mhm.
when you're dating, sometimes even if everybody not meant to be together, that doesn't mean you don't have a good friend in a
Let me
person,
tell. Let
and
me,
it could be that way.
let me just, Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. But I'm far from perfect. What made me the way I am is like Karen said. As you mature, as you get older, you start
Right.
seeing things, and you start a lot of that stuff that you thought in the 20s and 30s. You like, I don't want to think that way. And your time. You think about your time. Like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
So you weed all that
Chanel.
nonsense out.
No, I agree with Lamont when he said
Yeah.
if it's far in salary. So let me ask you this because I hear that a lot, and I say like I agree. But what happens if, which I've seen people who make the same statement and then they let somebody alone based on the salary, and shortly after that person exceeded them because they were already putting the pieces in place
Hmm.
to elevate because again
But
that
she,
goal is there. So what happens with that? Do you regret the decision?
Are you asking?
but Chanel,
Hmm.
can I chime? Like you
Oh no, go
remember,
ahead. I was putting it out there.
well, back in the day, you remember when we used to work together, and
Mhm.
Brian had his own job. He was a chef. But then after he, had to go on disability and everything and got really, really sick, remember I hired him as a back man.
You
Now
did.
that's my husband. And you've never seen me interact with him at a household and I'm his boss.
Right.
Because I didn't, you know what I mean? That face was always the same. Yes, I was his manager. Yes, he did his job, but I didn't treat him like he was under me at any
Mhm.
time because I hired him. And
Right.
of course, it was less than I was making because I was managed.
Mm.
So it's like, it's not about the money. It's about being in relationship and being partners
Right.
because we carried it for a very long time, 21 years until he passed away.
Mhm.
And it was exactly the way that power couples do it, although we didn't have shit.
Right.
But we still carried it as if we did because of the love that we had for one another and the respect that we had for one
Mhm.
another. We just
Right.
emulated what a black love ambassador. Now, it wasn't always gravy, but it wasn't all bad either, you know?
Right.
Yeah, but
So
that was one thing he always said was like y'all had each other back. And I'm like, but to get there, you gotta have a start point. And a lot of times people shut down the whole getting to know. And that's why I said I get it. And I think even from experiences, I think a lot of us interpret what we want as far as like if the financial piece matter from an experience. Because at one time I was like, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. But I noticed if I made more, it was thrown in my face. If I made less, it was thrown in my face. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like that's crazy to me because most of the people who threw it in my face, I make more than now. Or if if you made less than me, you got with somebody that kept you right there when I was trying to, you get what I mean? Or I didn't help you get businesses, all of that stuff. And that's why I was like, damn, this is crazy because it's all about what you want or what you do. But I don't think that should discourage you from getting to know somebody because you don't know who you might be sitting across because you're looking at that one thing when it could be the biggest blessing of your life in front of you.
You know, I met my daughter's mother. She's working at Wendy's, regular cashier. But you know how much I talk about her. One of the best people I met, and she just working as a cashier at Wendy's, making I forgot she might have been working $7 an hour at that time, maybe six. I don't even know what it was because it's like 2002, 2003, something like that. But it wasn't where she worked. And see, I met her. I didn't know she worked there, but when I found out, I didn't care. Didn't care because she brought everything else to the table.
Yeah,
So I didn't,
I
didn't
think
care.
it's about. I think a lot. Is it safe to say a lot of men might feel that way because they may have been used by women? Because if they had money and they and women used them for their money and it wasn't based on love, so they move with more caution in that. But at the same time, it could be off-putting, if that makes sense. You
Yeah,
know
I think men use money. Some use it because they got it and they think they think they can get women easily because they got money because it's the bravado they have. I
what
think some use money because you have some women who basically put that out there like you got to have money to get me.
I mean?
And I think others just use money just to because they don't have any self confidence. I think that's all they feel like they can get a woman with. You know, it's a lot of factors. You know, I've never had.
What is the huge gap? Because the monk mentioned he said that if it's a huge gap, he can't do it. So what if you let somebody go because it was say it was and you're not saying you per se, but
Yeah,
let's
no, yeah, yeah.
say but whatever. But again, nobody answered this question, and I get what I mean. I'm on the same page with Karen. Um, but what happens if let's say you have a great person that can check off all your boxes, right? But at the time, that person, well, I'm gonna ask you too, Karen, male or female, was not financially where you wanted them to be. Right. But because you didn't take the chance to get to know them, because once you found that out, you were kind of like, oh, hold up. But not knowing if you would have got to know the person,
Hmm.
it would have been, you would have found out what the goals were, where they were going, the things that they had in place, and you could see, oh, this about this, she about her thing, da 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 da. And let's say you let that go, and probably 6 months to a year later, she done bossed all the way up, doing everything. Now she's checking off all the boxes that you wanted, and now that income is there. How
With
would
me, okay, good, Karen.
Well, to me, once again, is really not about that, and it probably never has been for me because of I know what my capabilities are. So I was always encouraging people to do better. Like first thing you said when you started school to leave that job to get further ahead, I got to change everything because this is not where I want to be.
yeah.
And I was like, and I know that's right. Do
Mhm.
that shit. Do your homework. You got your homework done? I wasn't playing with you.
Yeah.
I've always encouraged people to do better. And
Mm-hmm.
now since I've moved to Florida, my opportunities have really opened up. So yeah, I'll be willing to put you on. I'm gonna show you how to run a successful business and
Exactly.
a side hustle. Cause that's what it is. We we
I'm
we
with
can
you.
accomplish things.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree 100%. With me, if the person isn't making the money, and it's like so, me and my daughter, it's a huge gap in money how much I was making compared to her. But it didn't bother me. What's up? What's up, Douglas? Doctor. it didn't matter to me because, like I said, all the boxes checked. So I knew she was in it not because of what I had, it's because of what I brought to the table, and I was down with her because of what she brought to the table.
Mhm.
So the money didn't, when I found out she worked at freaking Wendy's, I was like, yo, you think you hook me up? She hooked me up. Then I wound up going down there being a manager. I was like,
Um,
she's like I had my kids. I mean, she had two kids, and I had my two. She was like, yo, tell them down here to get something to eat.
oh,
So
y'all got some
it was
com- y'all
cool.
got some, y'all got some compliments in here. Lisa said you're a good man, Idris. Lamont said dating isn't as important versus marriage.
You got to date first. You got to be able to get the key to the door and unlock the door before you can get inside.
He says,
That part.
I cannot marry if we're far apart. If we are far apart in salary wise, that's my preference. That's where my question came from.
Mhm.
And then Lisa said, I'm tired of wasting time on men. Girl, get you. We here.
See, y'all need some
Then,
Bosco. That's what
then,
it is.
then J.A. said, I like a strong woman because I know we can build. Lisa said, no one is perfect. That part. Um, ambition, as you said, is valid, Lamont. Then Lisa said, gotta build that foundation to grow. Agree. Um, and then, it just was replying to Lisa. And then Jay said, money is not over love. Lamont said, money is the root of all evil. I agree.
Mhm.
Jay said, money is control. Doug said, hey, family. Hey, Mr. Logan.
What up? What up, Doc?
And then
Hey,
Lamont said, I don't suggest you judge a person and cut them off. But marriage is a contract. I'm not marrying a woman that would benefit off of a divorce. I get that.
Right.
Um, and then that was in reference to the money convo. He was clarifying.
Um, we got a lot of
I mean,
questions.
I get it. I think that's I do think it's very valid, and like I said, I think some of my things change based off experience. Like I said, I've had it thrown in my face on both ways, but I think the worst was from the person that made less than me.
Yeah.
Everything, like I said, anything I could just be like, hey babe, how was your day? Oh, you want to ask me about my day? Cause fuck you, making more than me. I'm like, damn, okay, it went like that, you know.
That reminds me of Eddie Murphy and Raw when he was
Yeah,
talking about how the girl would have had.
yeah, because I never made it an issue. Because to
Yeah.
be honest with you,
Hmm.
I've seen situations where people who have a lot of money and people get with these people, they go broke and they don't make great financial decisions, right?
Yeah.
Then I've seen people who make less money that's great with money, that's financially literate, financially responsible, and they actually do more with their money than a person
mhm.
with.
Yeah.
So my thing is I'd rather get to know the person and see where you at. I know where I want to go. I want to see where you can go and how we can balance and how I can feed off you and you can feed off me.
Yeah.
That's
Bingo.
Next
so
question.
not Martin and Gina Love. Okay, this one is for Bosco. I'm definitely gonna go on mute.
Uh-oh.
Bosco, why are you against independent women?
Here we go. I'm not against independent women, but let me say something. What's the opposite of independent? Dependent. I mean, you need something. You need somebody. You need this, that, da 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 da. If you're independent, I mean, you can do on your own. My daughter started working at 15 years old. That's independent because she's paying her bills, da 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 da. When you become independent, what are you doing? You're becoming a responsible adult. So why is it so big to say, "Oh, I'm an independent woman"? So what you're saying is you're an adult and you're a responsible adult. And this is not to knock anyone who makes their money and doing their thing. But when you brag that you're an independent woman, the only thing you're saying is that I'm responsible now. That's it. I'm just saying, and I'm not dissing anyone. I'm really not. Think about what I'm saying, the context of what I'm saying. You're actually saying you're a responsible person. I'm independent. I'm working. I'm paying my bills. I'm doing this. You're doing everything you're supposed to do as an adult. What if I said I'm an independent man? What are people gonna say to me? So you're a grown ass man. So that's the point I'm making. So when y'all hear Beyonce boost you up saying, I'm an independent woman, great. You're a responsible individual. You're a grown up. You're an adult. You're supposed to be independent. You're not living with your mother or your father or some man taking care of you. You're independent. You've grown up. You're responsible. That's all I'm saying. I love a woman who's doing her thing. Really, I do. If you getting your mail, you doing your own joint, I'm like, yeah. But don't make it sound because you're independent. You're doing something you're not supposed to be doing, like you done freaking discovered another planet in our galaxy that's been sitting up there for billions of years. You're independent. You're responsible. You're grown up. You're an adult. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing anyway. That's all I'm saying. But I know people say, "Oh, you hate independent women." No. Think about what you're saying. You grew up. You're independent. You're responsible. That's all I'm saying. I don't hate independent women. I hate the saying. That's all. You're responsible. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You turn 21. You're working. You got a job. You got a car. You got a house, an apartment. You're paying bills. Ain't that what you're supposed to be doing? Am I right or wrong? Let's keep it 100 now.
I
You
mean, that's,
doing what you're
I don't
supposed to
think
be doing.
I don't think that's the context in what that question was asked. I'm gonna tell you what I think real quick. I'm gonna tell you what I think. I think the people who ask these questions about you really should have a one-on-one conversation with
They
you.
should.
You up here, not you like your
Yes.
social media where you trolling.
Right.
A one-on-one conversation because I think a lot of times certain points that you make are very passionate. So that's what they take from that, but they don't hear what the get up from that. So just like when we talk about everything, we always say this particular is meant for this particular person. A hit dog on holler, right? So a lot of times it's easily for people to get offended instead of
Mm-hmm.
understanding. So a lot of times, my saying is be proactive instead of reactive. So have the conversation and get a better understanding before you react.
I don't
Or
have to talk to me. You know me, Coco. You've met
no,
me.
that's what I'm saying. That's what
Like I
I'm
said,
saying.
anyone who want to talk, they can talk to me. They know that, but they have like, I want to talk to him, but you don't want to hear it.
Because even when I'm asked, I'm like, ask him. I'm like, that's not.
Yes.
I'm like, because even sometimes some things, and I told you, I said I can see where they got
Mm-hmm.
that from,
Mm-hmm.
but having a conversation with you, and then if I'm actually listening to what you're saying, because I know of people or women in that group of women that you're talking about. The
Mm-hmm.
same way when we talk, you know, there's a specific group of men or women that I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But usually the people that get offended is the people who it is. Because then my thing is, if you're that offended, maybe do some self-reflecting or really get an understanding of why and where that came from, because some things cannot be negated if it can be followed up by factual. And a lot of times it's a simple thing of looking in the mirror. But my suggestion to most of the women and trans women who think that, because a lot of people keep missing the fact that, and it's just, I don't like to say it like this because it's going to sound like when Caucasian people say, oh, I got black friends. But people don't know you are close to people that are within the community that you're very supportive of.
Yes.
It's just a certain group that make it bad for everybody. It's like there's a group of black people that make it bad for black people. There's a group of white people that make it bad for white people. There's a group of Mexicans. It's always the rotten apples.
Let me ask you a question, and I might be jumping over. Out of all your Facebook friends, male friends, who posts more about black women succeeding than me? I'm always posting this. Go ahead, girl. Go ahead, but always. But I hate black women. But as soon as something happened, I'm the first one to break the news. Check this out. And I call out those who claim that they got the support.
Mhm.
Always.
Well,
And
I
I was saying, if y'all got it, if anyone, and you met me when in person, I don't have this rage that you see when I'm in person. You seen that? I'm quiet.
no,
If
you
you,
not. No, you was not. Don't even get up here and lie to these people like
well,
that.
except the time in Baltimore, I had to because y'all left me out there. Y'all threw me under the bus. Y'all just ran from me. You and Tiffany. Y'all ran from me that night. That was a whole different story. Y'all ran from me. So I
But
had to be like, yo, check me
yeah,
out, y'all. But anyway, if anyone has an issue with anything I say, hit me up. We can have a cordial conversation. I'm not gonna call you names. I'm not gonna do none of that. We can talk about it. Real talk.
which leads us to next week's topic: verbal and nonverbal communication. Tune in next week to the next episode of the Casual Convo Show. And also, make sure on Sundays from 10 to 2 a.m. in the Irvington community, 21229, the farmers market. And radio's going to be there with music. Bring your kids, all that stuff. Support local businesses. Well, that's if you're in Baltimore. If y'all not from Baltimore, I don't know what's Irvington in your area, but it ain't going to be there. You got to come to Baltimore for this one. I ain't.
Lisa asked who thinks are racist against black people. Lisa, you be shocked at how many people swear I'm Jason Whitlock or Candace Owens.
The
You'd be
great
surprised.
thing is we got all the questions answered. We will be doing this again soon. Of course, don't nobody hit me up in my DM based off of what y'all heard.
Talk to me. I want to have a conversation with y'all for real, for real.
We were just asking Jay, next week's topic is verbal versus nonverbal communication. It's going to be great because I think this leads to that. So Karen, do you have any thing you want to say closing? Is she here?
Oh, she there.
I'm still here. Good night.
I'm gonna say one thing. I'm sorry, hand TV. Listen, I'm gonna say one thing about Karen up here. Everything Karen says up here is absolutely factual. I remember
Yeah, she keep it 100.
when we worked together, and this is like in the beginning of my career, I was literally at that counter doing work. She would cover me and help me sell my stuff so that I could get my schoolwork done.
Hey, call into the show,
She was
Lisa, next week, man.
who really did encourage me to continue my schooling and do what I got to do. So it's people like her and other people that I've worked with throughout my career whenever I was elevating to get to the next level, and I ain't even done yet. And I tell people all the time, you never forget who was there for you to help you get through your next step, because just something that people look at as small or no, that was so major for me. So even when people help me, encourage me, and even when I'm doubting myself and get discouraged, I'm grateful. I'm thankful. Even people
Always.
have hit me up. I'm completely grateful. And thank you.
Call into the show next week.
We love you, girl.
Lisa. We'd like to have you on.
Yes, Jay. What is your question? We gotta go. What is it? What's going on? Okay, he hasn't said anything. Okay, Bosco, you wanna
Yes. Once again.
Apple.
There you go. Android, homie.
Apple.
Anyway, thanks for tuning into the show again. Catch us every Wednesday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Oh, this y'all. This how you talking to y'all.
Oh. Thank you for tuning into the show. Catch us every Wednesday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Facebook, IG, TikTok, YouTube, and everywhere. And radio, we everywhere. Check me out every Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on handradio.org. I'm rocking your jazz, your hip hop, your reggae. I'm doing all that stuff nonstop, commercial free. For everyone who joined into the show, Jay Bear, Lisa, Fallon, Lamont, oh man, the Dr. Douglas, my brother Dwelle, with so many of y'all, man, I can't name everybody. To Karen, yeah, at my man Doc, yeah, my school buddy Doc, I can't forget Doc. Yeah, forgot about him. To Karen for calling into the show, always giving good perspective. For my host, and she's bad. See, I be giving black women all the props, but she bad. Ain't she bad? Come on, y'all. Ain't she bad? Coco in the building. To my man Rich behind the board on Hand Radio, I am Bosco from the Bronx. And we are out till next week.
See y'all.
Peace.